So I'm going to draw straight onto my canvas paper. We're going to be doing an oval shape just here in the centre of the page. Don't press too heavily, this is just to show you on camera. Remember, if I go too fast, just hit pause and rewind. What I like to do is to watch the whole thing through, then do it again while pausing. That's the body. Now we're going to be doing the head. So the head is a smaller oval shape and it's at a tilt. So I'll just show you what I mean. So a nice shape like this, like a saucer shape, if you can imagine that. Just like that. We're going to add the little muzzle area, which is just like a little cone shape on the end. There we go. We're going to add in an ear, shape like that, and then the other ear on the other side, which is just merely a triangle. Now we're going to add in the eye, just here. And now we have to join up the head to the body with the neck part. So if you start just here, it's a little bit wiggly, so I'll go slowly. Go upwards and then inwards. And then this one's much simpler. It's just a curved line to join them up. Now we're going to be doing the legs. So just where we finished off here, we're going to go a little bit to the left, do an ever so slightly curved shape, and then we're going to be making it come round. It's quite tricky to draw on canvas paper. I'm sure you'll find the same. You can also do this on normal, quite thick paper or card. There we go. I'm not going to bother erasing because we're going to paint over it anyway. Now for the hind legs. So this one comes out at an angle. Does a little shape like this. Comes out again. Goes outwards and then comes back in. We're then going to do the tail. So just towards the top of this leg, we're going to come down, do a little round bit like this, and then this is going to join up to the body here. Now we're just going to add the big rock that the badge is standing on. So it's just a rock like this. There we go. I'm just going to add a couple of the features. So the nose, just like this, little mouth just there, and obviously the eyes are a bit more lifelike. Not doing too much detail because we're going to paint this, but I'm just going to show where the markings are. So I'm just going to outline where the white markings go, just so that we know where to paint. They go like this, and then on the other side of the head, top side, and come in. The grey area is going to go round like this, down, up, down. Now we're going to start painting. If you've seen my videos before, you'll know that I like to use a Stay Wet palette for acrylic paints to keep them nice and wet. So basically all that I'm using is just an oil plate, then I've put a couple of layers of kitchen roll on top, and then I've wet it all. On top of that, I'm going to stick down some grease-proof paper. So that's where all the paints are going to go onto this layer. And then when I've finished, I just take off that layer and then I can use it again. So I've added all the paints now. So I mixed my lemon yellow with some white, and we're just going to cover the area just above the badger. Just here. Add a little bit more white. I'm using the paint quite thickly. We're not going to do much detail in the background. I've just added a little bit of lime green, so we're going to blend them together a little bit. It's just some vegetation in the background. As we go further down the page, I'm adding darker green. I'm going in again with the lime green and the yellow here. Made a nice grey. So there's just the rock peeping out from below the badger. Adding a bit more black towards the bottom. A little bit more black underneath the badger here. I'm going to use that mid-tone grey just to delineate and to block in where we're going to draw the coat. So try not to go over the area that I'd already marked as being white. Just kind of colour in all the coat in grey. Adding a bit of white here. I'm now using a much finer paintbrush to do the white areas. But even the white areas aren't that white, so a little bit of grey in there as well. On the back of this leg. And then the tail. And then really white on this side, and that ear. I'm going to add a touch of brown, a light brown, just here by the muzzle area. Again by the ear. And also on the rump there. Now for the face in black. And underneath here. And then now for the leg. And now for the back leg. So I've just blocked in where all the colours go. I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes. So I'm using a tiny bit of blue mixed in with the black. To do a little bit on the nose and also this area before the eye. Add in a little bit here as well and on the top lip. So I'm going to add in a tiny bit there. Now just using black, I'm going back in. Going over what I did before to make it a more intense black. Doing the ears. And the nose. Way down here. Going back here. Just going to add a little bit of a darker bit to the spine. Now for the legs. Also going to add in the other paw that's just peeping out from behind here. Now we're going to go back in with the whites. Doing the other ear behind. Got a tuft of white on the back of its head. Want to cover up these pencil lines that we did before. Gonna add in a tiny little bit of white for the eye here. A little bit on the lip. A couple for the claws. Just tidying up the eye with a bit of brown. Now we're going to be doing the coat. I've just mixed some brown in with the grey, and I'm just going to do lots of dashes here. Just like that. A couple down here, a few here. A little bit more brown. Now in a darker grey, same thing. Now I'm going to go back in and do the rock again. Adding some green to it, or the moss, the algae. So going into the tail, using these long strokes again, and working our way up, mixing it with some grey, a little bit more grey here, quite a bit more grey along this area. We're just blending that line so it doesn't look quite so sharp anymore. Now going back in with white. basically it's about building up layer upon layer. Just using these little strokes. And don't worry if you don't have the top range artist acrylics. I'm actually just using acrylics from a DIY store. So yeah, you can do it using any kind of paint. They're a little bit more watery than normal. I'm going to go back in and do the face again. Now going back in and doing the detail. Just going over the much darker areas. Just adding in the claws again. And now we're going to add just little dashes like leaves on a tree in the foreground. And a few in the background as well. Last time doing this. Just adding some black lines like this. So here's our finished badger painting. I really hope you've enjoyed painting with me. If you have, then check out this tutorial. You're going to absolutely love it.